Well, joining me live now from Paris is financial analyst Max Kaiser. Mr. Kaiser, first of all, European shares have risen. Does that mean the extra liquidity that's been pumped into the markets by the central banks, is that having the desired effect, or is that just a short-term solution?
It's meaningless because they're just injecting more credit into the system. This banking system is terminally ill. Where's Bush and Cheney? You know, they borrowed trillions to go into Iraq, trillions they didn't have. Where are they in this crisis? Where's Bush and Cheney? They're hiding in their bunker again. They should be up front talking to the American people. Why the U.S. economy is sinking into a depression. Injecting a few $1 trillion worth or a few $100 billion worth of more funny money, borrowed money, credit, it's not going to make this dead horse get up and walk. The economy is dead because of too much debt. They should have had a recession back in 2002 in America after the dot-com bubble burst. But as you recall, you had 9/11. And at that time, the thinking was we can't show bin Laden that the U.S. economy is going to go into recession. So we're going to slash interest rates down to 1%. Remember, Greenspan did this back in the early 2000s. This created the real estate bubble, which burst and created the trickle effect for the collateralized debt obligations and all the other debts around the world, which are now imploding into multi-trillion-dollar catastrophe, all because America didn't want to spend a few months in a little bit of a recession. Well, America is now going to go into an inflationary depression. The U.S. dollar is going to be devalued. It's no longer worth this stuff. It's worth these bananas. That's going to be the new U.S. dollar.
Okay, so I take it from what you're telling me that when the Wall Street opens very shortly, you're not expecting to see any huge changes.
I'm looking for gold to go to $2,000 an ounce because people are sick and tired of the lies from Hank Paulson, from Ben Bernanke, from all the central bankers, from Goldman Sachs, from JP Morgan. Lies, more lies, nothing but lies. They're swarming into gold, and gold is going to go a lot higher. I know that in the Mideast, in the GCC countries, they're thinking about creating a gold-backed currency. Russia is thinking about creating a gold-backed currency to get out of the dollars. The dollars are the biggest financial terrorist threat facing the world today.
Okay, let's talk about financial institutions. We saw AIG being given a loan yesterday. Morgan Stanley is now discussing a deal with Wachovia. Washington Mutual also looking for a deal. Are you expecting to see more of these kind of rescue talks happening?
This is shocking. You have investment banks that took huge risks. They lost a lot of money. Now these sharks want to go after the retail banks to get their deposits. That's really obscene. The Morgan Stanley looking for a retail deposit. These are savers, people who have worked their lives to save money. Now Morgan Stanley wants to come and take their money. They want to confiscate their money. Where's the government? Where's Bush and Cheney? They should not allow Morgan Stanley or Goldman Sachs to acquire a retail bank and take control of all those depositors' money. That's That's out of Russia, 1955. America's become the United States Socialist Republic, the USSR. It's absolutely obscene. As an American myself, this is what I say about the U.S. dollar. It's becoming, it's not worth paper it's printed on. Anyone with dollars, get out now while you still can.
Okay, let me ask you this. There's now a train of thought suggesting that there's no longer any place for the huge investment banks, and given what's happened to Merrill Lynch and Lehman Brothers and so forth, is that a view that's gaining currency? What do you think?
There's no place to hide. Well, you know, as I said, precious metals, oil is going up again. You know, oil is going up. China has huge savings. You know, people are going to be putting money back in China after it went through its corrective phase. So there are other markets in the world. There are other countries in the world that are going to reap the benefit of an American economy shrinking, deflating, and we're going to see a transition. Actually, what's amazing, as I said on Al Jazeera English last week, is that this is a period in history when those countries that have been traditionally referred to as developing countries are actually going to be in a great position. You know, in India, the Indian population owns 13,000 tons of gold. amongst their population. Now, America only owns 8,000 tons of gold in Fort Knox. Germany only owns 6,000 tons of gold in their reserve bank. The Indian people own 13,000 tons. They own half of all the world's above-ground gold supply that's not owned by central banks. The Indian people could be the richest people in the world when this crisis is all over. And we should not minimize the extent of this crisis. This is like 1920s Germany, 1920s, 1930s America. This is an inflationary depression of severe magnitude. And as I said before, U.S. dollar is the worst place you want to be in. Anyone buying U.S. treasuries and U.S. dollars are going to be sorry they did. Get out of the dollar while you still can.
Okay, always good to get your thoughts there. Our financial analyst Max Kaiser speaking to us live from Paris there. And we will, of course, be live in New York when Wall Street opens for trading to see what happens there in around about 20 minutes' time. Now, she won her party's leadership ballot by just 431 votes. Now the